I know what kind of god I need to be. For you.
Sometimes, when you're faced with an impossible choice, you have to do the impossible. I don't know, it sounded cool. Roll the intro. We pick up just where we left off, with a visually stunning intro, by the way. Loki time slips back to right before Victor is turned into cosmic spaghetti. He tries to hurry them along, thinking that if they hurry, maybe the radiation won't be high enough. But Loki is highly underestimating the amount of cosmic radiation. So those few minutes that he saved really doesn't help, and we hear the now famous Victor Timely scream, but this time off camera. So Loki quickly asks OB,
What could we have done differently?
OB says that they just took too long, so again Sylvie was right about the lackadaisical culture at the TVA.
Everything is turning to shit, and you want to leave it to them while we go and have some pie.
Loki goes back over and over again, speeding things up little by little, and even asking for help from people that haven't been very helpful in the past.
Twits, I know right now you're hurt and you're angry, but we need your help in finishing the throughput multiplier.
But the multiplier needs to be built faster. Each time he slips back, he finds a little way to speed up the process. Eventually, he's done it so much and he's tried almost everything, so he's now even trying to speed up conversations while building the device.
Because you volunteered. If you did, you will.
And again, the question of who wrote the handbook is still going.
Guess what? The TVA handbook, you both wrote it. Isn't that amazing?
He decides that the only way to get it done fast enough is to be able to do it himself. So he asks how long it would take for him to learn all of the information that he needs.
But if I had to know, I mean, I really had to know, how long would it take?
Decades.
Centuries.
So, a couple of centuries later, think about it. He had to learn everything he could in a few hours, then start over. Over and over and over, but he learned everything that OB knows and he's ready to get everything done in record time.
The rings. Rings are too small. We're gonna make them bigger. Let's go.
Mobius is an extremely patient man, but now that Loki is suddenly an expert in all things mechanical engineering, even he has some questions.
What the shit are you doing? Trust me, no.
He knows everything down to the smallest detail. He's done this over and over again for hundreds of years and failed each time, but this time is different. Victor made it all the way. He placed the multiplier and then made it all the way back.
It's working.
The team is overjoyed. They did it, right? Loki finally won something, right?
These readings are off.
What do you mean off?
That's when the truth is revealed.
Loom will never be able to accommodate for an infinitely growing multiverse. You can't scale for infinite.
And it makes sense. They just made the Loom bigger to hold more. And you can't make it big enough to hold an infinite amount of timelines. Think about it like jelly beans in a jar. If you keep getting more jelly beans, no matter what you do, eventually there won't be a jar big enough to hold them all. Centuries of trying the same thing over and over again only to fail an impossible number of times might stop a puny god, but not Loki. He slips way back to when he and Sylvie met He Who Remains for the first time.
If you want to stop me, you'll have to kill me. If you want to stop me, you'll have to
kill you, I get it.
And he tries to stop Sylvie from killing He Who Remains. He tries again and again to talk her out of it, but she's 100% sure she is going to kill him.
You've been seduced by a throne.
The last thing I want is a throne.
But that's when He Who Remains drops a bombshell on Loki. The Loom is actually just a failsafe, so when it starts to overload, it just resets everything back to just the sacred timeline. And the TVA is just kind of there to take care of the stragglers. After revealing all of this, He Who Remains asks,
So, how many times have you been at this?
it turns out that even with Loki's time slipping, he's still pulling all of the strings. He planned for all of this to happen so eventually Loki will realize that he is the only option.
The outcome to this equation remains the same.
Even the time slipping is just a part of He Who Remains' plan to eventually get back in power.
I know about the slipping. And who do you think paved that road?
Loki flirts with the idea of breaking the Loom and just letting everything go crazy. But He Who Remains just kind of breaks it down like this.
But the Loom prevents a brutal war where nothing survives, Loki. Not even the sacred timeline.
Loki is faced with an impossible choice no matter which path he chooses. He doesn't want to kill Sylvie and leave He Who Remains in charge.
Make the hard choice. Break the loom and you cause a war that kills us all. Game over. Or
Kill her. And we protect what we can.
He really doesn't know what to do, so he slips to the first interrogation he had with Mobius. The old Mobius, the Mobius that still believes in the Timekeepers.
The timekeepers, dictate the problem.
But more than that, this Mobius still believes he has a purpose. A mission that is the reason for his existence. A glorious purpose. Something that, believe it or not, is extremely important to all of us. Who knows, maybe my mission is to entertain you with goofy videos about movies and shows. Subscribe for more. Anyways, they talk about the morality of making the decisions that they have to make. Mobius shares a story about a time that he was on a mission and he had to prune an innocent 8-year-old boy. That boy would accidentally kill a lot of people, but he's still just a kid. Mobius couldn't bring himself to do it, so Renslayer had to, revealing that back whenever they were hunters, they were partners. He explains that sometimes the right thing to do feels wrong, or maybe it just is wrong, but you still have to do it.
How do you live with it?
Scar tissue.
Loki stands up and shakes his best friend's hand for the last time, thanking him for everything. He slips over to speak with the current Sylvie one last time before, you know, he has to kill her past self before she kills He Who Remains. Time travel is confusing.
You're replacing one nightmare with another.
During his conversation with her, he comes to a life-changing realization.
If there's a hope that you can replace that thing with something better.
Hey, thank you for watching this far. If you don't mind, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and, you know, the like button, and put the bell on so you can see all my videos coming up. It would really be great. Thank you. Let's get back to the video. He's made his decision and he knows what he's supposed to do now. So he slips back to right before Victor takes his cosmic spacewalk. He takes one last long look at all of his friends and walks to the Loom door. He takes his powers to the next level like classic Loki did in season 1.
I think we're stronger than we realize!
He walks through the cosmic radiation that was enough to make Victor die instantly. As he walks, he transforms his clothes into the clothes and crown fit for a god. He raises his hands, casting the most magic he's ever used at once, and destroys the Loom, casting the threads of time into the void. But the branches start to die without something to hold them together. Loki again sees what he has to do. He starts to grab and enchant the timelines, opening a rift through the void to the end of time. He again steps towards his destiny, towards his glorious purpose. As he walks, he grabs more and more branches and connects them to him like a cape until he can't hold anymore. He finally gets the throne that he felt like he deserved, but this time for the right reasons. This time, he's the king that his father spoke of all those years ago. He sits and connects the branches to create a cosmic tree of timelines. In Norse mythology, the world tree is the tree of life encompassing all 9 realms. Thor draws it for Jane in Thor 1. We see new propaganda on the wall at the TVA. Let's grow together. B-15, Casey, and OB are hard at work getting Miss Minutes back online. It looks like OB no longer has to work alone in the basement and now gets to work with his friends.
And are we sure she won't?
Try to kill us all?
Yeah.
Mobius fills out a report on the Kang variants that are still out there, but he decides to leave the TVA.
I've gotta go see what exactly it is we've been protecting for all this time.
B-15 continues to protect the timeline. It's like it's where she's meant to be. OB gets a fresh and updated TVA handbook that he for sure, 100%, no doubt about it, wrote. Renslayer wakes up at the end of time. Let's remember, she wasn't a villain after all. She just knew the whole picture and was doing what needed to be done. She sees Eliath and maybe looks at it with possibilities, I'm not sure. We might see her again. Mobius and Sylvie have a chat at Mobius's house, and for the first time, Mobius gets to
Let time pass.
Loki now watches from his throne as he's now bound to the tree for the rest of eternity, or the Kangs will be released and everything will be destroyed. A sacrifice only a true king would make. Hey everyone, I'm stuck in this box until we get to 10,000 subscribers. Please help me get out of the box. Please. Please.